Hi everyone, thank you guys for joining us. This is the live webinar for our LSU Online Florist MBA program. My name is Nikki Brandy and I'm the Learner Concierge for the MBA program, and sitting next to me is Courtney Kirshner. Hi. She's our Enrollment Concierge. Thank you all so much for joining us. Today we're going to be, excuse me. Today we're going to be talking about LSU Online, the LSU Florist Online MBA program, how you can apply, and then at the end we will have a question and answer session and answer any questions that you might have for the remainder of the time. So LSU is the state's flagship university. We're in the elite 1% of all research universities as a land, sea, and space grant institution. With that, we're able to recruit top-tier faculty. And your diploma is going to say, it's going to read the same as our on-campus students. So it's going to say Louisiana State University and Agricultural and Mechanical College. It won't differentiate between online, it won't say global or world. It will read just the same as our on-campus. There's also no residency requirement. Our in-state and out-of-state, the same tuition. You'll also be assigned to your own learner concierge. That's my role. And what your learner concierge does is they provide you a direct point of contact here on campus from the application, once you submit your application, all the way through graduation. So if you submit your application, I'll be reaching out to make sure you've completed everything, submitted all the documents that we need to begin the evaluation process. And then I'll reach out. I'm in constant communication with the department, and I act as a liaison with other departments on your behalf. You'll also receive any sort of updates or calendar reminders in conjunction with whatever the department sends out to you. And I'm going to let Courtney go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Courtney Kirshner, and I am an enrollment concierge here. So if you guys received an email about this, you might have saw my name. I was sending out invites, and my role here is to kind of help you guys through this part of the process, the recruitment side of it, answer any questions that you may have, but then also leading up to the application if you have any questions about anything. And then from there, Nikki and I kind of work together and help you kind of transition into completing the application, and then should you get accepted into the program, then Nikki would take over from there. But I'm really excited to have as many people as we have on here and for you guys to learn more about the MBA program.
So with us today as a guest speaker, we have Dr. Hart. He's our director of the Florist MBA program, as well as Leah Whitmire, the Associate Director of Enrollment and Academic Services. And I'm going to let them go ahead and take over and introduce themselves, and they'll be speaking with you for a good majority of this webinar.
Well, welcome everybody. Excited you're here. As mentioned, my name is Dana Hart. I am the director of the MBA program here at LSU. I'm really thrilled to have a chance to connect with you all and answer questions and talk a lot about our program and the various things we're doing here. So excited to be on the call with you all.
Hi, I'm Leah Whitmire, the Associate Director for the program. To give you a little bit of insight as to what I do, I manage basically the admissions and enrollment processes for the program. So I'm reviewing applications, working with our applicants closely, and then once they become students, I work closely with them on academic advising, scheduling, making sure that they are meeting degree requirements, and ultimately see them through graduation.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, so I think the big question is always, why an MBA? Why should I get a business degree at this point in my life and career? And really, the answers are many, because it's a very versatile, a very competitive degree. It's one of the most popular, the most popular master's degree in the United States. It's an opportunity for you to really grow and develop your career. So through our broad-based business fundamentals in our curriculum, you really have a chance to leverage those opportunities and really start your career development journey from a short-term and a long-term perspective. You also have an opportunity to really grow your network. We have an expansive and extensive alumni network here at LSU, of course, and then certainly through the Flores MBA program. And then, of course, with each other. You all bring so much to the online classroom environment that you're really learning from each other, which really enhances the experience for everyone. So you'll have opportunities to grow and develop some really amazing relationships as colleagues and classmates during the experience. Of course, learn about our global economy. We talk so much about that in a lot of the things that we do, but it gives you a chance to really be embedded in that from an international perspective through the coursework, and then certainly from the international residencies that you can take part of. So it's really a holistic model, but certainly very pragmatic in that we want people getting out of their classrooms, out of their cities, and actually heading to different parts of the world through our program. And then again, through our broad-based business curriculum, you get the traditional pillars of business, and really have a foundation upon which to build and grow your acumen, to be sure, but again, through your ability to really transcend and develop an amazing career. So as mentioned, why an online MBA? So our online MBA program is very vibrant and we're very excited about it. And you have the same opportunities that you would as a on-campus student. So despite the delivery, the model, we really don't differentiate our students. We're all part of the Flores MBA family. So again, a valuable, really extensive network, an amazing brand. LSU reputation is considerable. It's outstanding, as I think you alluded to earlier with our research profile, just our brand identity. So the ROI is huge, both from a short-term and a long-term perspective. Our alumni do amazing things, and they see that certainly manifest in many ways, but definitely from their growth up the corporate ladder, so to speak, and then certainly from an earnings standpoint too. So the ROI is quite huge. We're a smaller program, and we're very intent on how we deliver it, because we want to maximize those learning opportunities with our students and our faculty. So we still maintain a small student to faculty ratio to really enhance the learning opportunities. And then, of course, the various things that you get through this program, whether it's specializations in emerging tech or analytics, or again, as mentioned, our international study opportunities. We travel all over the world, and we try to promote varied and very interesting opportunities for you. And that includes opportunities in Latin America, Europe, Asia, South Africa. It's really rich, and again, it gets you thinking, out of our respective cities and actually on the ground in different parts of the world to really get a glimpse and a fuller understanding of a global economic standpoint. So this is a quick little snapshot of one of our recent alums, Michael Hatch, who's doing some really interesting things in his career, and he travels quite a bit, as you can see. Do you want me to read this, or do you want folks to? What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead and read it. And I think you said you had a little more you wanted to add.
So Michael is a Navy. I share his anecdote word for word because I think it's pretty powerful. He says, I'm a Navy pilot traveling all over the world. Sometimes I'm just not near the internet. So the flexibility the LSU program provided me in order to get my work done was the driving piece, knowing that the faculty were there for me and looking for me to actually succeed was huge. One of the reasons I chose LSU Online was not only because of family, but because of flexibility. That one class at a time and being able to focus for 7 weeks on all of these external factors. So I actually got a chance to meet Michael when he was visiting on campus, and then when we traveled together in Asia. So Michael took part in one of our international trips to Hong Kong and Shenzhen, China. So we had a lot of time to talk about all of these things that he's just, shared in his testimonial. And it's pretty powerful because for me, I was able to learn a little bit more about his background and experience, but also talk about some of the things that he was experiencing in the program. So again, flexibility, convenience were major factors for Michael, which really emerged as the primary reason for him to do a program online. And we were thrilled for him to study at LSU with our program because he was really exceptional. And I think he took advantage of all the opportunities through the curriculum, through the relationships and network with his classmates, but also with the international experience. I think that was a great way for him to bring everything together from the classroom and really apply it while we traveled to Hong Kong and Shenzhen to see sort of the financial services hub of Asia, and then certainly the emerging tech capital that has become Shenzhen in southern China. So I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I'll do this slide and then maybe pass it off. But the program is great because it is aimed at working professionals who, again, want that convenience, want that flexible pathway to the MBA degree. So you can complete the degree in as little as 18 months if you like. Want the one class at a time model that Michael Hatch shared, then it would take you a little over a year. It's designed very similar to our classroom model in terms of the curriculum. So you're getting the same core curriculum, you're getting the same faculty, research, tenured faculty, world-renowned. They're teaching in our campus-based classes and also online. So for flexibility, everything is online. Everything is 100% web-based and asynchronous, meaning you can access the content based on your schedule and convenience. Now you're tied to a certain delivery. You have a schedule. You're taking classes over an academic module that are 7 weeks in duration. You'll be tied to certain delivery models and deadlines, but ultimately you can access the content after work, during your lunch break, in the morning, so it's very convenient. We have 6 start points a year that you can take over 7 weeks, as mentioned, 2 in each spring, fall, and of course in our summer. And then we have a deadline that is 1 month prior to the start date. And everything ultimately ends with our capstone course experience, which is our strategic management course. So we bring everything together in a very holistic way, but it culminates in that strategic experience where you're bringing accounting, finance, operations, information systems into that experience. And it'll go quick. So you see 18 months at the top there, or I think 22 to 27 months. But this experience will move very quickly, and I have that conversation with our students all the time. So it's a very rich experience.
And Dr. Hart
shows you our curriculum and what's required to complete the MBA online. We do require 11 core courses, and as Dana mentioned, we cover the major pillars of business through our core curriculum to give you that overall broad business education. We cover statistics, financial accounting, information systems, marketing management, and as he just spoke about, our capstone strategy course, which you'll take near the end of the program. In addition to these 11 core courses, do require our owners to complete 3 electives. And these are some electives that are listed here on this screen that we offer. Now our electives are kind of evolving and we're adding new electives as the program grows. So there'll be new opportunities for you. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, we have an analytics track. So that's become probably the most popular specialization that we have in the program, online and in our campus-based courses as well. So it's a really great opportunity for you to get a better understanding of how big data is driving business decisions and how companies and organizations are leveraging data to make important decisions, but also define their corporate strategy. So analytics has been excellent, and it gives you an opportunity to get a certificate as well. You get the MBA, which is the big ticket item, of course, but then you also get a special certificate in analytics. We've also launched an emerging tech specialization, which includes cybersecurity as well as artificial intelligence for business. And we're working on a course for AWS or Amazon Web Services, again, driving some of those analytical decision-making models and helping companies leverage the data that they have to really streamline their operations. You also have courses in leadership, in project management, and human resources, and then we'll also be offering an elective in entrepreneurship. So that will be coming this year in 2019. So we're very excited about that opportunity for those of you budding entrepreneurs who are looking to leverage this experience and then get the opportunity to think about launching a business or a venture either while you're in the program, which some of our students have done, or beyond. So we're giving you the tools and the resources to be successful in that process.
Perfect. I think we have a question from someone. I'm going to see if I can allow that. Okay, Corey?
Oh, yes, hello.
How are you, Corey?
I'm doing good, how are you?
Very good. Did you have a question?
Yes. I was wondering if it would be possible to take 2 specializations. The ones that just got described sound really good. I'm working in the tech field right now, so they both. I wouldn't know which one to choose right off the bat. Or is that something I have to decide going in?
Yeah, great question. That's exciting. Great to hear from you, Corey. Thanks for being here. You certainly could do that. It would go beyond the credit hour requirements for the degree. But if that was of interest to you, absolutely. You could just take a total of 6 electives. So you would take 3 additional electives in, say, emerging tech, for example, or you could, in lieu of the certificate in analytics, you could get a specialization in analytics. So the difference is, through a specialization, you would take a total of 3 courses in analytics. If you wanted that certificate, which would give you an additional diploma, you would take that 4th analytics course. And then again, for emerging tech, as mentioned, you would take 3 courses. So it's just extending the credit hour requirement for the degree. Our program requires 42 credit hours, which is a total of 14 courses, as Leah referenced earlier. So if you wanted to, you certainly could. We've had other students do similar things like that as a way to enhance their perspective in business and get additional opportunities to hone in and develop a skill set in a particular area or discipline. So if you wanted to do that, the answer is yes, and that's very exciting. I can take this one. So as mentioned, the international trips are a major part of our program experience. Our globalization, immersive opportunities are really something we strive to promote and help students participate in, just because of the varied opportunities, as I mentioned earlier. We talk so much about this global economy, but it's so important to actually be there in these different parts of the world to really appreciate the different dynamics that are in play. So we talk about the different businesses and industry leaders that we meet in these different parts of the world, and we really have this sort of shared understanding of what it's like to do business throughout the world. And what's interesting is we find that the world is getting smaller and smaller because of the connectivity and the ways that we work together. But certainly there are various cultural differences that are really powerful to experience and really understand. So that's a major dynamic for us, is really promoting this idea of cultural awareness and intelligence to really get a better understanding of the different cultural differences and complexities throughout the world. So these are some photos from many of our trips, but as mentioned earlier, we have a very focused effort on Asia, Latin America, and Europe. This past winter break, we had full-time students, professional MBA students, and online students participate in our Panama and Peru trip. So it was a great opportunity to visit the Panama Canal, for example, and then visit Machu Picchu as a capstone experience in Peru. We'll have another trip coming up to Shanghai and Beijing in April, where online and our campus-based students will come together and participate in that excursion. So the trips are excellent to broaden your horizons, of course, from a business and academic standpoint, but it's also a great way to network with one another. So we've had, thinking back in 2015, for example, I took students on a similar trip to Shanghai and Beijing, and we have online and campus-based students that are still really good friends to this day because of that experience, or the trip that Michael Hatch went on in 2017 to Hong Kong and Shenzhen. My point is we're trying to really promote a lot of great opportunities, whether it's in Cape Town or Johannesburg, South Africa, or if it's in London, Paris, or Dublin, Prague. I mean, there's so many opportunities for you to really explore different parts of the world, and we're very committed to offering those to you. So these trips count as elective credit. So if you wanted to, for example, travel to Asia or Latin America, you can get elective credit, 3 credit hours based on this trip, which is ultimately a course. And that's all aimed at, again, developing that experience and expertise, but ultimately counting toward the MBA degree itself.
Thank you. One second.
So this is another major experience dynamic of really any MBA program. We spend a lot of time and effort with career development in our full-time track because students are here as full-time students and looking to get either that internship or post-MBA full-time job opportunity, but we also help all of our students. So as a Flores MBA student, whether online or on campus, we provide career development delivery, resume development, to salary negotiation, skill building, to interview skills as well, whether it's mock interviews or some practice. In that sense, we're here to help you. But we also help you with the recruiting and networking piece as well. So if you're interested in opportunities to further your career in different parts of the country, for example, we can certainly help with that. If you're interested in coming to LSU to take part in our career expos, that's another opportunity for you. So you get our full suite of services from a career development standpoint, whether you're online or on campus. And we're very much interested in helping you with that. So we'll provide you with the tools, the resources to really be successful in this effort every step of the way while you're in the program. So yeah, again, as mentioned, the career receptions, we have expos each year, each semester that you can take part in, and some of our online students will do that. So we're very excited when you do participate in those opportunities. As a Flores MBA student, you're welcome to participate in any activity that we have on campus, whether networking events, social opportunities, or different speakers that we have on campus. We're certainly welcome you to campus. Last year, for example, we had the CFO from Snapchat here. We had campus-based and online students participate in that, which is a really great opportunity. As mentioned earlier, our Alumni Association is very robust. So we have alums all over the world, and we're happy to help connect you with them, as well as participate in different networking events throughout the country. We'll be heading to California, I think later this spring or in the beginning of the summer, to network with some of our Southern Cal alums, as well as Houston, and certainly locally here in Baton Rouge and then New Orleans. So we're very committed to connecting and engaging with you, and then also creating opportunities for you to network with each other. So this is always a fun slide. So where do our Florys MBA Tigers go? Well, the answer is really all over the place. And this is just an example of some of the companies, particularly where our full-time students go, but also where many of our part-time students have gone as well through this MBA experience. So you can see obviously a lot of enormous brands listed there. We have many hiring partners that are looking specifically for LSU students. So again, this could be through our career expos each semester or through different opportunities that we have through the MBA program. So we're here to help you. We want our Tigers to certainly be successful. And as mentioned earlier in that ROI piece, we certainly feel that. But it's up to you. I mean, this is a very difficult part of the process where you actually have to, you know, put yourself out there in many ways to be very self-directed and motivated to find these different opportunities. But we're here to help you, and we're very excited to do that.
So as far as admission requirements go, we do require a bachelor's degree from an accredited U.S. College or an equivalent from an international institution. A 3.0 undergraduate GPA is required, as well as GMAT or GRE scores. There are opportunities for waivers on the test scores, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Additionally, we require a minimum of 3 years of professional work experience post-bachelor's degree. So we're looking for 3 years of full-time professional experience since receiving an undergraduate degree. The GMAT waiver is available to qualified candidates. Those candidates that meet our minimum admission requirements of a 3.0 GPA or 3 years of work experience can apply for a GMAT waiver. And in most cases, we're able to grant those as long as the minimum requirements are met. And that just goes a little bit more into the GMAT waiver. If you're interested in receiving a waiver, if you're not sure if you're eligible, you can reach out to me directly. If you send me a copy of your resume and your undergraduate degree transcript, I'll take a look at that and let you know if we'd be able to waive those requirements for you.
I think we have another question real quick.
Hello.
Hi, Amin.
Maybe not.
Okay.
So we do have, hold on, we have an admissions question real quick before we get on there. So it asks if the minimum requirements are not met, but you do well on the GMAT, is admission possible?
Yes, it is possible. I can't, we won't be able to give a definitive answer now, or it's not so black and white where I could say the exact situation where it would be possible, but we do have some flexibility with GPA and work experience. So in the cases that you may not or minimum requirements, you may be asked to do that. If those scores are competitive, then we can consider your application for admission.
Okay. And if you don't have the, another question that was posed is if you do not, if you don't meet the requirements for the waiver and you do have to take the GRE or the GMAT, what is the score that you're looking for?
I would say a competitive score for the online MBA program would probably be about 550 is what we would be looking for. We don't have a set minimum score, but I would say within that range. We can be flexible with that as well. Okay,
great.
And I can see that we have several questions coming up. We are at the end of this. As soon as we get through these slides, we will have a question and answer session. So we will answer all the questions that you are posting for us. So please don't think that we're ignoring your questions. We will, if we miss one, we will get back to it. Oh, just.
Hello?
So the cost of the online MBA program, It's pretty set cost for our online program. It's per credit hour, as you can see there, $1,110 per credit hour. It's a 42 credit hour program, so roughly about $46,600 for the entire cost of the program.
In addition to what Leah just said about tuition, go to the next slide. So one thing that we did want to bring up in the webinar today is that we have a class that is starting on March 11th, which is going to be our second spring start date. And for that March 11th start date, we are going to be offering a special tuition rate for new students who start in that second spring term. And you guys might ask, okay, why are we doing this $50 per credit hour? So as we are setting up LSU Online as a structure to support the growth of our online programs, we must align our on-campus structure with our online structure. And so because of that, we're offering this tuition rate for second spring term only, and it's only for new students, to ensure that we're removing any barriers that might be caused by our term change, which is going to be this term change that we're working with is through financial aid. So because of that, we can't offer any financial aid for our new students who start with us. So because of that, your first class will only be $50 per credit hour. So instead of paying for that first class that you take with us, instead of paying that $3,340, you would only pay $150, but you have to pay for it out of pocket because we won't have financial aid available. If you were planning on taking the 2 courses, do we do 2 courses?
They are allowed to do 2 courses.
Okay. So if you were planning on taking 2 courses in that first term with us, then what we would do, since we won't have financial aid, we won't work with you, but financial aid will work with you to carry forward the cost of your second course and either set up a bill payment plan, or financial aid can also counsel you on whether you may be eligible to use financial aid for the 2 summer terms to help cover the cost of that second course in that second spring. So we wanted to let you know that this is just a one-time offer for our new students who are starting, and it's only for 1 class. So if you were planning on taking 2 classes, it's only going to cover that first class where you get it at that special price of $150 per credit hour. So $50 per credit hour, 150 class, sorry. So definitely apply today, because that deadline to get started with us on March 11th, the deadline is going to be on February 11th. So we have, 12 days to get all of that done, but you definitely can do it. You can work on it over the weekend if you guys were wanting to get started with us in March. So this then kind of breaks down that application process like I spoke about. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go through the graduate school application, which is listed right there. It's gradapply.lsu.edu. You'll have to upload your professional resume. You will also have to do a personal statement, which is just your goals, the purpose of wanting to attend the LSU Flores Online MBA program. We also will have to receive your official transcripts of every school that you've attended in the past. So your undergraduate, if you went to a community college before undergraduate, or any post graduate level courses that you might have taken, we will have to receive that. We are also a military-friendly school, so if you are wanting to join us and you're from the military, we will also need your JST, which is your Joint Services Transcript. The GMAT GRE scores, like Leah talked about, you will also have to get 2 letters of recommendation, and you will just have to put the name and the email address right into that graduate school application, and they can just respond back with that. Also, for any of our international students, you will have to do the financial statement and the TOEFL scores. There is a $50 application fee for our domestic students and $70 application fee for our international students. But we do also have a fee waiver available to candidates who hold active or current military status as well.
All right, so we are going to open up for question and answer session. Leah, Dana, did you guys have anything you wanted to add before we started the question and answer session?
No, I think we covered a lot of ground. So I'm excited to answer any questions that folks have.
Well, we actually already have several questions coming in.
Great.
I am going to allow Ahmed, are you there?
Oh, that was Corey.
No, we have right here.
Oh, we don't need it, Corey.
Yes. I have a question regarding if the GPA is less than 3, what will be the process?
So I would say if your GPA is less than 3.0 and you have the work experience requirement that we're asking for, I would definitely still apply. Give us a chance to look over your application. We do holistic reviews of each application that we receive. So we're not just making decisions based on a GPA or based on GMAT scores or wherever it may be. We're going to look at everything holistically and make an informed admission decision based on the entire application. So we do have some flexibility with the GPA. If you're, depending on what your work experience and professional accomplishments are, we may be able to accept your GPA being a little bit lower than 3.0 without requiring GMAT. It just all depends on the complete application. So I would say still apply. Don't let that dissuade you from applying. So give us a chance to look through your application, and we'll let you know if we do require the GMAT because your GPA is too low, or if there's other reasons that we would need to ask for the GMAT. We'll ask for that and give you a chance to submit those scores to us so that we can consider your application for admission.
Let's move this up. Look at our other questions. Okay. Do you have to have a business background to join the program?
Go ahead. Okay, you don't. Our program is open to students with various experience in academic levels. So we have many students who join us from business, but certainly engineering, sciences, humanities, communications. We don't have any prerequisites in order to join the program, but once you are part of the program, you would need to follow certain courses such as statistics and our financial accounting course, for example, which would serve as a foundation for other courses. But to answer your question, no prerequisites, no business major or minor is required.
Thank you. And then as far as getting into the program, what is the expected GRE score?
GRE, again, we don't have that. I would recommend maybe scores of 300 for admission consideration.
Is this program at all related to the LSUS or LSU Shreveport Online MBA program? If not, what's the difference?
We are not part of that program. So LSUS and LSU are different institutions. LSU, of which we are a part, is the flagship university of Louisiana. Although we're part of sort of the same LSU umbrella, we're actually different institutions. So LSU Shreveport maintains its own campus in the northwest part of Louisiana. And LSU, we are here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So we're not affiliated in that sense. LSUS is a shorter program, and it's I think about 30 credit hours. We are 42 credit hours. A major difference for us is our faculty. We have research-based faculty that are teaching our courses across all of our formats. And so it's a different level. We're a different research tier than what LSU Shreveport is. So I mean, that's really the fundamental differences. Our courses are a little different. Our requirements are certainly different. Our faculty are different. And we're the flagship campus of LSU, whereas LSU Shreveport LSU Alexandria, LSU Eunice, for example, are totally different campuses. Did that help answer your question?
And to kind of back up what Dr. Hart said as well, with LSU, the flagship campus, when you graduate, you're an LSU Tiger. Our other campuses, they are like LSUS, you would graduate and you're a Shreveport Pilot. So it's separate campuses when you graduate.
Will the degree show LSU on it or LSU Online?
LSU. It's Louisiana State University Master of Business Administration. So the degree is the same as you would get online, as you would get if you took courses in the evening, the weekends, or the full-time format. So all of our MBA students get the same degree. Absolutely.
You mentioned a low student-teacher ratio. What is the online ratio?
That applies to online as well. I mean, we typically would have a class, depending on the course offering, but it's typically 45 to 50 students are in a class, and that's similar to what we have in our full-time format.
Okay. Can you dimensionalize how online students are interacting with one another on a routine basis?
So, great question. Just because you're in different parts of the country or the world doesn't mean you're not connected together while you do this experience. So we have students that are in many classes together, that they have discussion boards, they'll do Skype meetings, they'll find ways to connect outside of the classroom, for a virtual classroom, for example. Our international trips is a great way for students to connect together. So I'm always in awe of what happens, either on these trips or if we have campus events or international trips where our online students come together and they meet each other in person for the first time, but they're as if they're long lost friends because they've known each other throughout their matriculation online. So it's a different format, but the opportunity for engagement, for relationship development is very powerful. I teach online and in the classroom, and the engagement is just always amazing. So yeah, it's a different experience because it's virtual, because you're accessing content in a more flexible way, but ultimately the opportunities to connect and engage with one another are very high.
Thank you. Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the questions. Oh. Are there any other fees per credit hour, i.e. technology fees, etc.? Some programs I have talked to did not disclose those fees in its advertising, thus almost doubling the actual cost of the program. Is the $42K the true cost of the program?
So that's the cost of tuition and fees. So that's not changing unless there is an increase in tuition, which can happen. But at this point, that's the set cost. You are responsible for your own textbooks and course materials, so that would be an additional cost per course. Also, if you chose to attend one of our international trips, there is a separate international trip program fee that you would be responsible for paying for as well. Outside of that, there are no hidden fees.
Do you guys use ProctorU for the testing platform?
We do.
Okay, so there's fees that come along with using the program.
Yeah, so good point. Yeah, so there are testing fees. There are fees, as Leah mentioned, with books, or if you have to buy Harvard Business Review cases, for example, for some of the case studies. So those are in addition to what you pay in tuition and fees. But as Leah mentioned, the tuition and fees that we assess are fixed.
And I just want to mention on this question that I just read out loud, the poster did say 42,000. Just be advised that it is at this point $46,620. I just wanted to make sure we were reading the correct amount so nobody was confused on that. Do you offer an MDA with a concentration in program management? I think
We do not.
Okay.
We have, you can take our project management course, and then there's certainly some other courses we could frame together. If you're interested in getting an MBA and a specialization in project management, but we don't have a true established specialization in that area.
Okay. I have finished my MS in computer science from New York, but I am international on F1 visa. Do I still have to give TOEFL GRE scores?
No, you would not. Since you already have a US degree, you would not be required to submit the TOEFL scores.
Is it still possible to get into the program with a GMAT score lower than 500?
Again, it depends on the application. We would want to take a look at your entire application before giving a definitive answer on that. We would still, need to see your undergraduate GPA, your work experience, to kind of make that determination if those scores would be acceptable.
Is the international trip a requirement?
It is not. It is part of our elective curriculum.
Is there a time limit on accepting past GRE scores?
GRE scores are valid for 5 years.
And can you repeat what specializations are available?
So we have two formal specializations in the program. We have our analytics program as well as an emerging tech specialization that we've recently just unveiled. So we're in our pilot with that specialization now. We offered a course in cybersecurity, and we're currently delivering our artificial intelligence for business course. And then we'll have other courses as well. Again, one on Amazon Web Services and some other ideas we're developing. We have other elective options available. As mentioned, we're launching an entrepreneurship course later this year. We have a human resource management course. We have a project management course. We have a global supply chain management course. We have a leadership course. So there are varied opportunities for you to pursue electives in the program. But at present, we have sort of two specializations, and we'll continue to develop more based on student interest and certainly competitive advantage from a business standpoint.
Can I take a mix of in-person and online classes?
Not at present. I mean, I think that's something we'll eventually get to, but the intent of this program is for you to be an online learner. And the same is true of our other part-time programs where our students are enrolled in those respective programs, and there's really no deviation from that pathway. But at present, you would take all of your courses online or all of your courses on campus.
And is this program appropriate for someone mid-career? I've been in my professional career for 22 plus years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the MBA is aimed at various perspectives and candidates from different points in their career. We've had students early in their career join us who are just launching their career. We've had other students who had 20, 30 years of experience as an executive get our MBA. So there's no time limit in terms of when you should do this. It's certainly open to anyone who has the desire and certainly the interest to really build a foundation of business education. So my answer is it's open to anyone at this point who's ready to commit to the experience and really get a lot out of it as well.
Great. And are there many group projects or much group work within the online classes?
There's not a lot. I mean, the intent of this program is to offer that flexibility and convenience in an asynchronous manner, meaning you would access the content based on your schedule, of course, tied to deadlines and deliverables, but you access the content on your terms, so to speak. We have, a couple of courses that require some interaction, all, of course, through online connections, whether it's Hangout or Skype or Zoom or GoToMeeting, things like that, or email. That's certainly achievable. One in particular is our marketing course. And then we have a negotiations course where students have negotiated with one another. So those are a couple of examples. But by and large, in the main, this course, this program is meant to be asynchronous and very flexible.
And you mentioned financial aid will not be available during the second spring semester. Can you explain why?
Yes, so we are aligning our financial aid to cover the same as it would for our on-campus structure. And so in order to do that, we had to break the current structure that we have now. And so that way we don't have overlapping loan terms. We are not able to offer financial aid for our second spring students. However, it will be back just as normal for anybody who qualifies for it starting in first summer. And that's why we're offering that special fee price of $50 a credit hour for our students who start with us in second spring, because for our new students, they will have to pay for that first class out of pocket.
So it'll be $150 for that first class, and that I just want to reiterate that $50 per credit hour does only cover the first class. So if you take additional classes, you would pay the regular traditional cost.
Correct.
And then with summer, your summer one will be on the 2019-2020 FAFSA. So if you fill out your application, go ahead and fill out the 2019-2020 FAFSA.
Okay.
And I apologize for joining late. For those who are working a full-time job, how realistic is it to finish the program in less than 22 months?
Great question. I think it, not to be ambiguous, it really depends. It depends on your ability to manage, taking 2 classes at a time. It's a lot of work. This is a major commitment of your time, energy, and of course expense to do this. So the commitment is high to pursue an MBA. And we've had, many students do it. It just really depends on your schedule, your sort of operating rhythm at work, for example. If you're able to commit to 2 classes, then it's certainly very doable. It's been done. So there's a precedent, but by and large, the majority of our students take 1 class at a time because of the rigor and the demands in each of our courses. So it's hard to answer that question because I think it just depends on your ability to manage a lot of moving parts in your personal and professional life to do it, but very doable.
And I'm just finishing my undergrad this spring. How strict are the work requirements?
Go ahead.
So in this situation, we would ask for GMAT scores. We wouldn't be able to provide a test waiver for you since you do not have that work experience requirement. We would consider for admission, based on the full application, your GPA, undergraduate degree, and things like that. So we can consider that. It's just something I can't definitively answer right now, but we can consider it.
And what do you consider, what is considered work experience that's applicable to the GMAT waiver? Do internships and stuff like that count?
So we're looking for post-baccalaureate work experience, so anything after the bachelor's degree has been earned. So full-time work experience after the bachelor's degree. Typically, we'll consider the internship experiences. They don't necessarily count towards that full-time work requirement, but that's something we'll still take into consideration in the admission review.
And with that, where does the military work experience, since a lot of them, they get their work experience prior to completing their bachelor's degree?
Yeah, so we definitely have flexibility on that. We are willing to take into consideration that the years of military experience prior to bachelor's degree. That is something that we're very open to and are willing to consider.
And are there merit-based scholarships?
No, we currently do not have any scholarships available for our online program.
What is the payment plans offered?
That is something that you, should you get accepted into Second Spring, if you are wanting to take the 2 classes and you, for the second class, that $150 a class fee will not be offered. So we would just get you in contact with the bursar and financial aid, and they would just talk with you about that plan. We can't really advise when it comes to that.
Will online students be part of the graduation ceremony?
Absolutely. That's always a fun day for our faculty, staff, and of course our students. So yeah, we always encourage our students to participate and walk across the stage and get your diploma. It's a very big deal. This is a major accomplishment, and we're always excited to celebrate with you.
Will all exams be taken through ProctorU?
Not all exams. It really just depends on the structure of the course and the faculty. Some of them are offered in Moodle. Some of them are offered through an independent source that the faculty provides. Those would be sort of more akin to like a take-home exam. You may have papers. It just really depends on the course. But for the most part, the exams are delivered through ProctorU.
And what is the deadline to complete the program once started?
A total of 5 years.
And what are you looking for with your recommendation letters?
Someone that can really speak on your behalf about your technical and domain experience, of course, but then also, things like your work ethic and character. There's really no certain template. We don't require, certain things to be in the letter, but someone that can speak on your behalf to inform us of the type of person you are, the type of work ethic you have, and inform us about how you will perform in this program. So a manager, supervisor, a colleague, a former professor, those are all certainly fine examples of what a letter of reference can represent.
Perfect. We have just a couple minutes left. I'm going to try to get to a couple more questions before we run out of time here. What does it mean your application has been reviewed by your program and they have recommended you for admission without funding, particularly the without funding?
So that just means you weren't offered any type of scholarship through the program. As mentioned, we don't have any scholarship opportunities for the online program that we can offer. And that's just the graduate school's wording that they use whenever they send those messages out to applicants who have been recommended for admission. It's either with funding or without funding.
And congratulations. Excited to have you.
If I got accepted for summer mod, will the tuition potentially increase for future modules? Or is it a fixed price that aligns with the time I got accepted?
I think that for us, from an MBA program standpoint, we have our own sort of professional tuition, which we're not increasing. LSU as a whole can govern that tuition policy. So there could be an incremental increase. At present, I don't know the answer to that, if that will happen or not. For us, we're committed to maintain the same tuition and fees as best we can. So we're not increasing from an MBA standpoint, but LSU as a whole, there could be a possibility of that. They assess that every fiscal year to determine if there will be a tuition increase. But it's no more than 10%.
And I think we have one time for one more question. Is LSU AACSB or EQUIS accredited?
We are AACSB, the highest level you can get as a research university. So AACSB is our business accreditation body, and there's certain tiers associated with that. So as a research institution, we maintain the top tier AACSB.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have for questions. We just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us. This will be available to you probably by tomorrow. Dr. Hart and Leah, thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you. Thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to hearing more questions from you. We're happy to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.